Okay, get yourself ready for your restorative practice. Make sure you're going to be warm. Have a blanket to cover yourself if you feel like you might be chilly. It's getting to that time of year again, isn't it, where it's kind of central heating time, isn't it? But if you're maybe not ready to switch the heating on yet, then have a blanket. Have a folded blanket for underneath your head. Have a bolster for underneath your knees, and a couple of blocks for your feet. So, if you need a blanket, have that nearby. I might just cover my feet. They get cold. Sometimes it's just a good thing to just cover them over. So just get yourself comfy. There's something really nice about this time of year, isn't there, when the weather starts changing. Getting darker earlier isn't quite as nice, but it starts to feel a little more kind of cozy, doesn't it? The autumn feels like it's good to start wearing a jumper. And kind of weirdly, I really like wearing jumpers. So it's a good time of year. You can feel the weather changing a little. You can feel it in the air. But we're not quite at the stage where the colours of autumn are hitting us quite yet. But just allow the body to release into the floor, just enjoying that transitional feeling in the air. Allow yourself to completely relax into the floor. Perhaps you've been on your feet all day. Perhaps you've been doing repetitive tasks or frustrating tasks. So now is an opportunity to just let all of that go to the wayside and allow yourself to release into the floor. Just feel the straight line of the ground underneath you. Just wherever you need to, and allow yourself to become heavy. Let the muscles relax. Consciously release the muscles of your arms and your legs. And take some deeper, longer, more conscious inhalations and exhalations. Close your eyes if you haven't done. Soften your jaw and your tongue. Release the lower teeth away from the upper teeth. Allow the tongue to soften in the mouth. Draw your attention into the soles of your feet. Draw your attention into the soles of the feet so that the skin of the underside of the foot begins to tingle with consciousness. Draw your attention into the soles of the feet and allow the soles of the feet to completely relax. Letting go consciously of the muscles and the skin. Draw your attention to the tops of the feet. To the tops of the feet and to the shins. Draw your consciousness into the tops of the feet and the shins, and then soften the muscles. Release the front of the foot into the back of the foot. Allow the fronts of the shins to sink into the backs of the shins. Draw your attention into your knees and your thighs. And then consciously allow the fronts of the thighs to sink into the backs of the thighs. Draw your attention into the knees and the thighs and allow the fronts of the thighs to sink into the backs of the thighs. Allowing the legs to completely sink into the floor. Draw your attention into the abdomen and the ribs. Draw your attention into the abdomen and the ribs, and then surrender the ribs and the abdomen into the floor. Let the muscles soften. Soften the muscles around the rib cage, allowing the body to become heavy. Release around the shoulders and the top of the arms. Become conscious of the arms in contact with the floor, the upper arms and the forearms and the palms of the hands. And then allow your arms and your shoulders and your hands to completely sink into the ground. Draw your attention into your neck and the muscles around the face. Release the neck and the muscles around the face, just allowing the body to completely release into the ground. Just allow yourself to indulge in this feeling of total relaxation with no worries of having to perform. Just enjoy this sensation of being. With each exhalation, allow the body to sink into the ground a little more completely, letting go of any tension you may have brought onto the mat. Draw the relaxation down the arms and into the forearms and into the palms. Just enjoying this feeling of complete freedom from demanding of your time, demanding of your energy. This is all about giving yourself that energy back. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster. Have the feet apart, the knees together for a moment, just resting your back into the floor. And then very gently roll onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just come into cross legs for a moment. Just observe how your energy has changed. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of energizing poses. The first is just a side lying stretch. So just have a bolster it goes underneath the armpit chest, and then have a block with your blanket. Just fold the blanket over the block like that, and then sit with your legs bent like this, stretching over. Bring your head down onto the block, and then stretch your upper arm over the top of your head. So we don't often use a blanket on top of the block. Sometimes you just have the block directly, but it's quite nice to have the folded blanket on the block. So just allow yourself to just relax into the pose, but feel that extreme opening of the ribs on the upper facing rib cage. Just allow the body to relax. So as you know, as we move more deeply into the sequence, I'll stop talking so that you're not having to listen all the way through. You can just use this time to rejuvenate your energy and relax. As you inhale, just try and breathe into those upper ribs. Just gently expanding the rib cage with each inhalation. So this practice is unstrenuous, but we hold the pose for a long time. So when you come out of the pose later, you feel like you've given yourself a really good, intense stretch. Just bring that top arm back into the hip. Push the bottom elbow into the floor and then bring yourself up into cross legs for a moment. Just observe how your energy has changed. Observe how maybe both sides of the rib cage feel different. And then just go over onto the other side, onto the other hip. Again, bend in your knees. And then stretch yourself out along the bolster. Have the the block and the blanket for your head. And then stretch that upper arm over your head. Breathing into those upper ribs, upper facing ribs, but try and breathe evenly into both lungs. Okay, bring that top arm back onto your hip. Push the bottom elbow into the floor, and then just bring yourself up into cross legs. Just observe how the chest lifts and feels open around the armpit, chest especially, how your energy feels different. So just another pose for opening up your energy is the spinal lengthening pose, which is really nice. You just have a bolster from underneath your knees, and then get your blanket and then unfold it once, unfold it twice. So it's this long, kind of quite thin blanket. Fold that along the floor, and then fold it down the center long ways, and then fold it down the center again. So you got this little kind of mini bolster. If you've got kind of hemming on the blanket, have that at the head end. You don't really want that in your digging into your back. So you've got this little narrow blanket, and then you're going to sit right on the, so you don't want to sit right on top of it at this stage. It's just behind your seat bones at this stage. You can just cover yourself up if you need to, just maintain warmth. And then just lift, push your hands into the floor, lift yourself along the folded blanket, and then get hold of the end of the roll, and then a blanket, and then roll it underneath your head. And then just adjust the position of the bolster underneath your knees. And the aim here is to give yourself this sensation of elongation along the back. So just, you might have to come in and out of the pose a couple of times just to find that sense, to find the right place where it feels as though it stretches out your spine. So from the head down to the hips. Once you've found your position, you can allow yourself to just release into the pose. So you need to have it so that it's not uncomfortable in your lower back, but it feels like it's just lengthening out the spine. Okay, push your elbows into the floor, lift your chest, and then just bring yourself up into seated position. Move the bolster from underneath your knees for a moment. Just come into cross legs. Just observing the lightness in the spine and along the neck. Okay, just unfold your blanket and just return it back to your kind of little pillow shape. You might want that for the next pose. So get your bolster, and we're just going to do a spinal twist. So you're going to sit. You might want to put your blanket on top of your bolster just for a little extra height. So bend your knees in the same way as we did when we did our kind of side stretch. But this time we're going to just have the bolster right up against the hip, and then you lift up into the chest, elevate the chest along the bolster, and then let the elbows rest on the floor either side of the bolster, and then rest your head in the same direction as your knees. If it feels too strong in your abdomen, then maybe just take the blanket away and just come down along the bolster. Just see how it feels, see which you prefer, or you can always just shuffle the bolster away a little. Just lengthen yourself along and then release into the floor. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position. Just sit with crossed legs for a moment. Just observing your energy. And then just swap the pose around, just sit on the other hip. And then lift the chest, stretch the chest along the bolster. And then rest your head again in your chin in the same direction as your bent knees. So this is really nice for just stretching out the lower back especially. Okay, push your hands into the floor, sit yourself up. Just come back into cross legs, just feel how the sequence of poses has lengthened out the spine, opened up the side ribs and stretched out your back. And just for the last couple of minutes, just get your bolster underneath your knees, have a folded blanket underneath your head, and then just come back into our basic relaxation pose, the one that we began with. So this time you don't need anything underneath your feet. You can just have your feet directly on the floor, and then just guide yourself down onto the ground. Allow the body to completely relax into the floor. Let the muscles of the arms and the legs completely release and allow the body to become heavy. And out of that heaviness, perhaps you observe a sensation of physical lightness that radiates from the bones and into the muscles. Radiating from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs. Into the organs and the flesh and the skin. That feeling of energetic lightness filling the body from the toes to the top of the head. Use your in-breath to draw the breath down into the toes. Use the in-breath to draw that lightness of energy into the tips of the fingers. And use the in-breath to draw the energy up into the top of the skull. Up behind the eyes and up into the top of the head. Feeling of energetic lightness. Filling the body like a pure white or golden light. Radiating from the bones and into the muscles and into the flesh and the organs and the skin. Almost as though the light is shining through the skin. Okay, when you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, just have the feet apart, the knees together for a moment, just resting your back into the floor. And then very gently roll onto your right side, just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hands in Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the relaxation poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Just connecting the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence and peacefulness that you can carry into the rest of your evening. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy Give yourself good, positive energy to put into your evening. So thank you very much for joining me.